Hey everybody, it's Cristi Jessee, and today I'm in historic downtown Henderson, the Water Street District. This area is like a Main Street USA vibe, and it's not really a place that a lot of people think about when they think about Las Vegas, when they think about Henderson. But there's a lot of history in this area, as well as all the Henderson municipal buildings. So why don't you come along with me and check it out today? So this is Water Street here, which is kind of like the main drag through this area. And there's really been an effort to revitalize this area over the past years, ever since I've been in Vegas, which I moved back here in 2016. And, I think it's a work in progress. This is the famous Rainbow Club Casino, the Pass Casino. These are historic casinos. I'm not sure when they were built, but this whole area is very has a mid-century vibe to it. I believe that's when it all kind of was developed. And this whole area of Henderson is very unique. When I used to sell real estate here, it's known for having no HOA, larger lot sizes, and more of just like a small town feel to it, which you can see just by the streets, the storefronts. It definitely has that Main Street USA feel to it. And I kind of drove through before I got out of the car, and I did notice a lot of new development. There's a little sushi restaurant there that I hadn't seen before that I believe is new. Of course, these casinos have been here forever. Down here on the left, you've got the, I think it's the jail, the Henderson jail and courthouse, which unfortunately I have visited before. Not for my own, I wasn't in trouble, but I kind of was in trouble because I had a crazy person who was stalking me, and I had to get a restraining order. That's a whole story. And there's definitely a spiritual aspect to it. But I'm going to get to that story in a little bit, so stick around. Wine on Water Street. This looks like a new establishment. It doesn't open until 2 o'clock. And it is kind of early right now. It's probably it's before noon, I can tell you that. I was kind of looking for like a place to get coffee. This is America First Center. It's like an amphitheater. I've never been there, but some interesting characters walking around down here. I already had a gentleman tell me not to vote for the mayor of Henderson as I was walking by, and I just kind of smiled and kept walking. This is 215 Water Street. This is the I'm not sure what that is, the watermark. Maybe office buildings. Maybe they're condos. Because I believe this amphitheater is new. But there's not a lot of foot traffic down here. It's probably about 63 degrees out right now, so a little chilly in the shade, but not too bad. But this amphitheater up here is an ice rink where the Vegas Silver Knights practice. I believe it's their practice facility. And that's a feeder team into the Vegas Golden Knights hockey team, professional hockey. And I know that is a recent addition to this area down here. And you've got the bail bonds over there. Because like I said, up here on the left is, I believe, the jail and Henderson Police Headquarters, I believe. I'm not sure. I just know all the city municipal buildings are over here. Here's the visit the team store for the Golden Knights and the Silver Knights. This is kind of neat looking. You've got the hockey pucks. I don't think I've ever walked around over here. It's nice. You can see they're making an effort, you know. There's a sign, the Water Street District. This is all really cool looking over here. I'm gonna walk up here because I've never been up here before. Looks like they've got the sprinklers on. The new year has arrived. Special events. America First Center in Henderson. So this is really nice. Something to do in Henderson. Henderson, there's the city hall, straight that way. The Henderson Justice Facility. Oh, you know, I just got, as I was driving out here today, I was just thinking about that time of my life when I had to go to court and deal with that stalker. It just started giving me like anxiety, and I just started praying, and thankfully I haven't heard from that person in years. So I think they lost interest. But it was a scary time. I mean, yeah, here's Henderson City Hall. And it didn't really help that my employer was not very supportive of me during that time. This person was like showing up at my place of business in the middle of the night, and we had night shifts and early morning shifts there, and I wasn't there, but other people were there, and it was just a whole lot of drama that I didn't need at that time in my life. But you know, the devil comes to kill, steal, and destroy. John 10 verse 10. And he was definitely trying to destroy me at that time of my life. He wanted to take me out. If he was ever going to do it, that was his opportunity from about 2016 to 2018. But he failed. God protected me. Even though I was under a lot of spiritual warfare at that time of my life. I kept pursuing God, and every time I would like get on the right path, you know, I didn't understand spiritual things at that time of my life. So every time I started walking with the Lord, every time I started moving in the right direction, the enemy would send in an agent or tap into someone like this stalker guy, which really pushed me back into the arms of that warlock I was dating that I told you about, because I felt unsafe. And so instead of leaning into God for protection, I leaned into man. And it was like the enemy, he just knew how to push my buttons. He knew how to get me right back into sin, right back into bad habits. And thankfully, when I finally prayed for wisdom and discernment in 2021, the scales started falling from my eyes at that point. Here's a 7-Eleven. Judicial Park. Yep, that's the court. So the scales started falling from my eyes, and I started to understand spiritual things. And once you see, you can't unsee. And that's really when I became much stronger in my faith and able to resist the enemy. And I knew God started showing me the devil's playbook. So I knew what his tactics were. I even knew from experience, but when you're just not walking closely with God, you're easily misled. Here's a pizza kitchen. These look like new condos down here, new apartments. That looks like a wine bar there. I wanted to find I think there's a couple coffee places down here, but as you guys know, I don't drink alcohol. This is about the end of the strip here, of the Water Street strip, Water Street District. So there's a lot of bars and taverns, and I thought there were more coffee places. But I haven't seen anything pop out at me. But maybe I'll just go sit in the plaza over here and tell my story of the 2017 stalker I had, that I had to go to this court facility to testify. It was such a crazy story. Water Street District. That's a kind of a cool sign. I kind of want to walk you guys through that Rainbow Casino just so you can see how old school it is. I don't gamble, but even just from a historic perspective, it's interesting to see. They do have a little cafe in there too. I could probably go in there and get some coffee. I feel like I've eaten in there before. There's City Hall to the left. Maybe I'll do that. Because I'm not finding any of just little coffee shops. But also, man, when I go into places like that, it makes me so happy that I quit gambling. Because it's sad to me. But, people do different things for entertainment, I guess. Water Street District. Okay, let's see what this says. Historic Henderson Walking Tour. Site 1. Introduction. Water Street was once the commercial and civic heart of Henderson. The name of the street is rooted in Henderson's industrial heritage after the water pipeline used to pump water to the basic magnesium ink plant. The story of Henderson started in 1939 when Cleveland businessman Howard Eels obtained the mineral rights to the magnesium deposits in Gabbs, Nevada, 350 miles from Las Vegas, for use in making refractory or heat-resistant bricks. goes on to talk about. If you want to read this, you can pause it. You can screenshot it and watch it. Almost 15,000 people came from across the country to work at the plant. So it's a big magnesium plant, okay? Beginning in February 1942, temporary houses to accommodate the influx of families. I believe that's around the time they were building the Hoover Dam as well, which is not too far from here. As the community grew, schools, churches, shops, and other small town features were completed. In 1944, a post office was established and named in honor of former U.S. Senator Charles B. Henderson. That's interesting. I bet that's who Henderson is named after. I did not know any of that information. But that makes sense of why this whole area has like a mid-century feel, because if it was all kind of established in the 1940s. And there's a lot of like little shotgun shack houses out here too. Some of the oldest houses are probably in the Las Vegas area are probably out here close to this area, from what I remember when I was selling real estate. It's kind of cool over here, Maybe I'll just sit here. No, I'm going to go to the Rainbow Casino. I'm going to walk down here because it's just interesting to see. It's 60 degrees in Henderson right now. It's chilly 60 degrees. In the shade, it's chilly. So you guys already saw all this, so let's just go into the Rainbow Casino. So here's the Rainbow Club and Casino. I saw another historic placard back there, and it said that this was established in 1967. And from what I remember, it kind of has that same vibe when you go in there. Now, I haven't been in here in years, but the last time I was in here, it definitely has that old school vibe to it. So this should be interesting. Okay, let's see, you guys. And hopefully they won't have a problem with me shooting in here. I'm still so traumatized from the DR. Use your points. Oh my gosh, there's a strong smell of cigarette smoke, which I do not enjoy. Where's the casino? I mean, just super old school, you guys. Like, I literally feel like I'm walking into 1967.
Welcome to the treasure mine.
It's almost like the smell of smoke is so unbearable, you guys. It's not a very large casino, so you're gonna get the 5-cent tour pretty quickly. But it's busy, I'll say that. There's a lot of people in here for what is today, Tuesday morning? I do remember this diner is kind of cool. The Triple B Dining, so we'll check that out. Hello. Just one.
Just one? Right, perfect. Did you want to sit at the counter today or
A booth if possible.
Oh,
You can't have the camera on or video on.
Oh. So apparently, you guys, you're not allowed to record in there. I went to walk into the cafe and the security came up to me and said, "You can't record on the casino floor." And I said, "Well, can I record in the diner?" And she's like, "No, no one here." I'm like, "All right, well, I'm leaving then." And to be completely honest with you, I felt sick in there anyway. Listen, the spiritual temperature was just, it's nasty. And sometimes God will send us into places to change the atmosphere or with a mission or an assignment. But listen, the enemy doesn't like us going into places like that either, because we change the atmosphere, okay? But I felt sick. I went in there, I walked around, I used the restroom, and my stomach is just like, ugh. And maybe it was the cigarette smoke. But, yeah, so I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me, but it's fine. Good to know. You know, it's a private business. They have the right to make their own rules, and that's fine. But I did get a bad vibe in there. And all I'm seeing down here is really bars. Like, there's no, I'm looking for just like a little coffee house. Well, here's a place, biscuits and bourbon. Like, I don't want bourbon. I just want maybe biscuits and coffee. This is why I don't even like leaving my house. Seriously. You know? There's a barbecue. I guess it's a barbecue place. You guys. All right, so I'm walking over around the corner, kind of back toward my car. I honestly, like, I'm not even hungry now. Like, I lost my appetite just being in that place. The smell was just so strong of cigarette smoke, which is not appetizing. I mean, it looks like a cool diner, you know. But I don't know. Okay, so there's some little shops down here. So I'm just gonna see if there's a coffee shop down there. Oh, here's the place, the Boulevard Grill, but it says gaming. So that place probably is gonna smell. Townhouse Motor Lodge. That looks like a super old school sign, which is really cool. There are some more shops down there, but I'm gonna walk over here. I wonder if I'm gonna get approached by security just walking on the street, you guys. It's like, it doesn't matter where I go. You know, it's like, but you know, it's just, that whole Rainbow Club thing is super weird to me, because there's so many YouTube channels that are dedicated to like slots and you know, and gambling. So I just don't understand why they wouldn't want the free publicity, you know? It's so weird to me. But whatever. It's kind of bad PR, but you know, again, it's their private business. They have a right to do what they want, I guess. Okay, so these are all very Main Street looking establishments. I don't know at this point. It's like, do I just go sit in my car and tell you guys my stalker story and then go home and make breakfast and make coffee at home? Because, you know, first of all, I kind of lost my appetite. Here's the sushi place. What is this? Lunch specials. Okay, sushi, but what is this? I don't even know what this is. Kai Sushi. And I don't know what this other place is. But yeah, there's like no just, you would think in like an old school coffee or a Main Street type, they just have like a place where you could get coffee. Pacific Diner. Okay. So, okay, this might be it, you guys. Pacific Diner. It doesn't look like they have gambling in there. Let's see if they're gonna allow me to shoot in here. Okay, I like this already. Fueled by Jesus and coffee. That's me. Okay, so she said I can shoot in here, you guys. And I already saw your sign, fueled by Jesus and coffee, so I like that.
Absolutely.
I'm in the right place.
All right. All right, right this way.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, perfect.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
You are welcome.
And you know what, you guys? Already, whatever feeling I was feeling in that other place is gone. Like, I feel the temperature in here is good. When the sign is posted when you walk in saying, you know, Jesus is here, my kind of place. All right, let's check this menu out. All right, you guys. This is just like an old school diner. It's my kind of spot, okay? They've got breakfast, omelets, salads, hot sandwiches, burgers, cold. It's a diner. My kind of place. But I'm not super hungry even still though, you guys.
Hi there.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. I brought you a water.
Thank you so much, yes.
Do you want anything else to drink?
Yeah, could I get a coffee with cream, please? Do you have Splenda? Yes, you do. Perfect.
Coffee. Do you want a regular cream or
Regular's fine.
regular?
Mm-hmm.
And do you want a few more minutes?
What's the best thing you guys have here?
I love the huevos rancheros. That's my thing.
It's just like
Our
really.
chicken fried steaks really popular. Are like if you're looking for a sandwich, like the tuna melt Philly cheesesteak.
What do you have that's a little bit lighter? I know it's a diner, but like your salad. What's your best salad?
Probably the taco salad. But we don't have grilled chicken right now, so
Okay.
that's what I would have wanted if I was getting that.
What about just like eggs, sausage, and hash browns?
Okay, like a 2-egg breakfast.
Yeah, perfect.
How do you like your eggs?
Just over easy is good.
And potatoes, or you said hash browns.
Yep, that's fine.
And what kind of toast? Or you can get a biscuit.
Just regular, whatever white bread is
White?
fine. Yeah.
All right, I'll be right back with your coffee.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. You still want to look at that?
Sure.
Okay.
So Pacific Diner, you guys, come gather at our table. Everything sounds good, but like I said, my stomach is still kind of like turned from, it does not smell like cigarette smoke in here. It smells good in here. So I just got like a 2-egg breakfast, you know. The huevos rancheros actually sounded really good, but I just can't do that right now. But I can already feel, you guys, just the spiritual temperature in here is so much better. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Like, they're super friendly. And you know, just something about seeing Jesus and coffee when I walked in made me, I'm like, okay. And it's just, okay, you guys, that was such a perfect example of how sometimes when the enemy blocks things, sometimes rejection is God's protection too. Like, I did not belong in that casino. I knew it and the devil knew it too. I mean, I will say the security guard, she was very nice, you know, so whatever, like, it's not, I don't, you know, it is what it is. Let's try the coffee. Good coffee. I also want to go to Boulder City, which is also kind of like an old school Main Street USA type of town that's kind of by Hoover Dam or on the way. All right, let's get into the stalker story. Oh, Jesus, take the wheel. So this was back in like 2017, I want to say. And maybe 2016, but I think it was 2017. And I was working at a TV station in Vegas. I was the news director. I ran the news department. And so I had kind of a semi-public persona. You know, I did a lot of social media. I was on Twitter at the time. It was called Twitter at the time. And I did a lot of tweeting. You know, that was kind of big back then. I'm not really on X. I am, but I don't really post on there. I don't engage in it because I find it's kind of like soul sucking. You know, I'm not really into social media in general, except to go on and like post my content. But I even stopped posting on X because it didn't bring me joy. Okay, so I would like live tweet during the morning shows and to promote the morning show and different things. And I would like interact with viewers, right? And it wasn't a big deal. Like, it was part of my job, engagement. And so there's this one guy who started engaging me on Twitter, but like a lot of viewers did, you know, and it was not a big deal. It was normal. But I think he started like asking me out on Twitter, like kind of weird. And I just kind of ignored it or blew it off. I didn't really think anything of it because it's not like it's the first time that had happened back then. But I remember he was kind of off. So I was living in Henderson at the time, and my 3 kids were young. I mean, they were all in elementary and junior high, or maybe even maybe my daughter was just starting high school or something. And, you know, I was living alone in this house in Henderson, and I had a nanny because, you know, my job required me to be at work all the time, which, you know, my kids definitely suffered for that. And so I had a nanny, and all of a sudden, and I was in a gated community, like there was a gate that blocked my street. And then all of a sudden I noticed that the gate was like broken to my street, like wide open. And I was like, well, that's kind of weird. But you know, sometimes like on garbage day and stuff, they would open the gate. So it didn't seem like that big of a deal. But then all of a sudden there was this white truck that started like parking in front of my house. And I didn't notice it or think anything of it. But then one morning at like 4:45, 5 in the morning, there was like a knock at my doorbell, or a ring at my doorbell. And this guy is at my door. And I woke up and I went down and answered the door. And he was like, oh, I accidentally ran over your light post in your front yard. And his car was like up in my yard and had like damaged some of the landscaping. But here's the deal, that light post had already fallen over like the day before. So I knew he was lying. I was like half asleep, but something inside me, like, I mean, I'm sure it was the Holy Spirit even protecting me at that point, was like, this guy's lying. And I just looked at him and I said, you're lying. And I like slammed the door and locked it. Okay. And my son was upstairs, and he was young at the time, my youngest son, Alex. You guys know Alex. And he like looked out the window, and the guy was like looking up at him. And the guy left. And I thought it was super weird, even to the point where I think I posted on like the Nextdoor app, like, hey, you know, just want to like let you guys know in the neighborhood this creepy guy was like at my house. I'm not really sure what his angle was, but he was lying, and it was just really strange. Well, then it turns out the nanny said that the day before, that same white truck had been like parked in front of the house, like when she was coming home with the kids from school. So I'm like, okay, that's weird. And then I started getting these really creepy emails that were like perverted and disturbing. And all of this was kind of happening at the same time. And then it clicked that this guy that I saw that morning was the same guy who was like tweeting me and like asking me out on Twitter. And I was like, okay, this is super creepy. And so I called the police and like I made a report and everything. And this guy was like showing up at my house, and then he started showing up at my workplace, and then everyone at work is getting freaked out. And It was so horrible, you guys. And at this point, you know, it literally made me like reconnect with that guy who I dated off and on for 4 or 5 years that I knew was bad for me, but he was really tall and like I felt safe around him. So I tapped into him. I'd actually just met him and I already knew like he wasn't for me, but when this happened right around that time I met him, it made me like want to be around him just for safety. Okay, because I wasn't walking with God at the time and I wasn't leaning into, you know, protection from the Lord. So that guy literally brought like a whole crew of people over to my house and they were staying there for like a week. And I had filed a restraining order against this guy and the police were like looking for him. And they did eventually like pick him up. I don't know where they got him or how they got him, but they got him and they arrested him. And they ended up putting him in like the psych ward. Until our court date, which was like 3 months, okay? And so I had to come down here to Water Street District to go to court and like testify, and it was so horrible, you guys. And just weird. And I just felt so uncomfortable and violated. I mean, I bought a firearm. I never thought I would buy a firearm. I bought a firearm. I got a security system on my house. It was just horrible. And then at work, like my boss was giving me a super hard time at work, like basically didn't believe me that this was a viewer that I'd never met before. He was like kind of like insinuating that I dated this guy or I knew this guy. And perfect. Oh, that looks so good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Enjoy.
This looks really good, you guys. It's just like a traditional breakfast. And so, you know, I didn't appreciate that. And then like when I had to go to court, he was like giving me a hard time about the news broadcast that day, like saying it. And I'm just like, oh, and then there was also a period during this time where I felt so unsafe that I took the 3 kids and we moved into like the Sunset Station Casino for like a week because this guy was like casing my house and it was before they had picked him up. And I knew he had, like clearly they put him in the psych ward. Like the guy had mental issues and the disturbing emails I was getting. And when I like looked up his background, he had a history of domestic violence. Okay, so it was really scary. And it didn't help that my employer was like super like not supportive of it and like gave me such a hard time about it, and like I was lying and like it was really inconveniencing him. And I ended up bringing the whole like stack of police documentation and like brought it to work because I felt like unsafe at work, like they were going to use this against me to try to, because I already felt like my boss wanted to get rid of me at that point. And that's a whole nother story, you know, where basically when he found out he couldn't manipulate and control me and I wasn't interested, if you know what I mean, all of a sudden he wanted me gone. So you know, it was just horrible. So even just coming down here today, it was like giving me anxiety, but I'm like, you know what, it's good that I talk about this and the spiritual aspect of it, you know, and how the enemy works and how I had just met this guy who I ended up entertaining off and on for 4 years or 5 years, who was not good for me. And I already had like tried to break up with him after our first date. I'm like, this guy's kind of a user. Like he wanted me to buy him shoes or something, like, and I'm like, dude, I just met you. Like, no, I'm good. It was literally that night when this guy started showing up at my house. And so then I'm like, okay, well that guy's like, you know, 6'6", 6'7", like I'm gonna feel safe around him. Devil's Playbook 101. And when you don't know, like my children perish for a lack of knowledge, like when you don't understand how the devil works, it's so easy for him to manipulate you and manipulate outcomes in your life. You know, and I was drinking at the time. I had so many open doors, you know, that the enemy just was having a free-for-all with me. But I will say that God still protected me through that whole time. And even though I eventually did leave that job, like within a year, and it was like this public scandal, which was all fake news, My boss basically got what he wanted. It was still the best thing that ever happened to me. Because it really just pushed me into purpose. Like, honestly, it didn't feel like it at the time. It felt horrible at the time. But in retrospect, it was the best thing. And I never heard from that guy again. I think that they did let him out after that court date, but I had a restraining order, and like he wasn't allowed, if he like violated the restraining order, he would like have to go back to jail or something. So a lot of times, like, I did research on this, and it just talks about how a lot of these people, if you like don't know them and they're just fixated on you, that usually within a couple weeks it'll like pass. And I do believe it was a demonic affliction that he was dealing with, and that he had other issues as well. So, all right, I'm going to try this sausage. And I forgive him. I pray for him. I hope he's okay. I don't have any ill will against him. You know, like, I know the enemy was using him. So, you know, it's like, just, if you see me on the street, don't talk to me. It's good. Very good. If you guys want like a down-home breakfast and diner experience in Henderson, Water Street District, Pacific Diner gets my full endorsement. Just a good old-fashioned breakfast. Just what I needed, you guys. Really good. Super friendly people. Really good. I like these sausage patties too. They're like big. Sometimes I like putting hot sauce on my. It's really good. Just reminds me of like small town America, you know. I love it. I love that. And they're letting me shoot in here. They're open to free advertising. It's so good. But I will say that ever since, you know, I've completely submitted my life to the Lord, shut every open door to the enemy, God has given me spiritual wisdom and discernment regarding these things. I walk in dominion on this earth, okay? The devil can't push me around anymore. I mean, yeah, I deal with witchcraft. I deal with spiritual warfare. But I know I'm protected. Like, I don't fear anything because I walk with Jesus, okay? I don't have to look for, you know, yeah, thankfully my husband is a strong man and I feel safe with him. But even if I didn't have him, like, even when I'm in Vegas and my husband's still in Punta Cana, like, I feel safe here because I know I have my team of angels that follow me wherever I go. Yeah, and you shouldn't put yourself in bad situations. You know, and when you go somewhere and it feels bad, leave. Like, I felt it in that casino. It felt bad. Okay. It felt heavy. I didn't like it. And I left. I'm so happy I left. I'm glad they kicked me out. Because I came in here and it was like, open doors, open doors, open doors. Okay. When God shuts doors, there's a reason for it. Just like my experience, you know, when I worked in corporate America, shut those doors, other doors open, these doors, and it's so much better now. My life is so much more blessed, favored. I have ease, acceleration, comfort, peace, no striving, you know, it's just better. So that's it, you guys. And I think I'm just going to end it here so I can finish this amazing breakfast at Pacific Diner. And thank you guys for hanging out with me, and I keep you guys in my prayers as well. But just know that if you're going through a lot of spiritual warfare, gang stalking, just completely submit everything to the Lord and know that you have dominion in Christ. He gives us the authority over all the power of the enemy to trample him like serpents and scorpions under your feet. Okay, Luke 10:19, the sword of the Spirit is your weapon, the word of God. Okay, so don't let the devil push you around. Be wise to his playbook and what he does to try to keep you in sin cycles. And just resist the devil and he will flee from you. James 4 verse 7, okay? So I appreciate you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me today in downtown Henderson in the Water Street District. And I pray you guys have a blessed day.